When Sigourney Weaver gets 4th billing and then William Hurt gets 5th billing, you know you done f***ed up, no matter who the first 3 names are. Most people dismiss The Village, including me, but let's at least acknowledge the solid visual flair, which is not an accident, as Roger Deakins was the DP on this movie, which many people seem to forget, including me. So am I sinning the movie or myself? Or you? Guess what? I don't even care. Wow, emotional moment here. I want to show respect, but also, that skinny-ass grave dug just behind him cannot hold the coffin he's crying over. The smoke monster on the prairie. Man, these ladies hate flowers.
Who came up on this?
That's funny. My college girlfriend said the same thing when she found my old. Also, I think part of the reason people tired of M's formula is scenes like this that prioritize mood over authenticity. No group of kids, no matter what cult, no matter how brainwashed, stand silently in a perfect circle around a dead animal. There are just too many varieties of immature human nature at play for one of them to not run away screaming, yell for an adult, or try to gross everyone out by using it as a hand puppet.
Those we don't speak of have not breached our borders for many years. They do not come into our valley.
Make the village great again.
I will gather new medicines, and I will return.
How does he know for sure that the new medicines exist? This movie hates dogs.
Keep careful watch over our little ones as they play on the hill.
Or maybe don't let them go play on the hill unsupervised, even.
Those we don't speak of are much larger creatures than coyotes.
Those we don't speak of? You actually speak about their asses all the goddamn time. Maybe the least believable thing in this entire movie is that there is only one clothesline for this house. It's basically full right now, and it's only drying one outfit. I mean, holy I guess this might be how they did pants back in the whatever time period these fools are trying to stay in, but I don't care. Sinning that pants and belts have a very specific relationship, and this outfit is breaking all the rules in unholy ways.
You may run from sorrow as we have. Sorrow will find you.
This is what my college girlfriend said to me right before our first. As these boys run away from the forest due to weird noises, can't help but notice how the entire town is just candled the out of itself tonight. Does anyone sleep? Did these boys sneak out for a forest edge adventure just after supper when everyone's still awake? Every other window has a lit candle. This game is more up than anything else in this movie, which is saying something. Why is this one tree in the foreground acting like it's fall and its leaves are all brown and mostly gone, but all the trees in the background are green and full of life and showing no signs of autumn whatsoever? Oh, so she's blind, eh? A blind protagonist. That's some lazy ass writing if you ask me. What kind of an asshole writes a story, even pending sequels, about a blind protagonist?
No hitting. No hitting. No hitting. No hitting. No hitting.
So, no hitting?
What shall we do with our stolen time?
Considering we've basically spent the first 20 minutes of this movie watching just the boring parts of Little House on the Prairie, I think I'm the one who's having their time stolen, Ron Howard's daughter.
Is that the school bell?
Cheating.
Today at Resting Rock, Noah Percy handed Ivy Walker berries of the bad color.
Berries of the Bad Color is all of the following: a new nickname for bruised testicles, the name of my grunge revival band, a popular spicy Albanian cola drink, and the title of the unauthorized biopic of the Cranberries.
There are secrets in every corner of this village.
And candles.
Sometimes we don't do things, yet others know we want to do things, so we don't do them.
Basically, this is the book of Romans from the Bible boiled down to a single sentence. He uses the same amount of caution walking into the Forbidden Wood that I use when walking into Wendy's, which is to say, not nearly enough. Weird. His view of the creature that growled ends at the midpoint of that tree on the left, and he couldn't see anything left of that, nor turn his head to see extra. So he's walking back, and I guess he may...
There's no escape!
Whoa, what the f*** is that cut about? Did the projectionist put a reel out of order? Just lost 20 minutes of movie right there. Christ.
Are you not angry you have no sight?
Sir, thy couthness thou hast dropped somewhere along thine path to hearest.
Kitty is to be married.
Skip.
And he does care for my sister deeply.
I said skip, damn it. Wait, this is 30 seconds later, and she's still talking about this? I swear if you took the conversation pauses out of this film, you'd be left with about 20 minutes of actual dialogue.
I am blessed as well. My older sister is now spoken for. I am now free to receive interest from anyone.
Be careful what you wish for. Also, anyone is being generous. There are like a dozen age-appropriate eligible males here, and at some point, inbreeding becomes a problem for a community like this, no? These red coats are a nice attempt at sleight of hand by M. Night, trying to distract us with a mini twist to hide the main twist. But the problem is, by this point, we're all so trained to look for his twists that we know what he's doing the moment we see the poster for the movie. Our looking for the twists basically kills the effectiveness of them. It's basically Schrodinger's twist. The bell, then everyone hurries to the cellars, and again, I'm left wondering, how many of these adults would find this mythology worth all this effort? Why wouldn't you just pay a couple of dudes to patrol the perimeter and do creepy and whatnot to keep your myth alive? I know why, I'm being rhetorical-ish and you only need this for the movie viewers, not for the story or the characters, which kind of sums up the problem with this movie. You wrote it for moments and gave logic and reason the finger while doing so. Still surprised that I don't see more of those we don't speak of cosplay at Comic-Con. I mean, who doesn't want to dress up as Little Red Porcupine Hood? These f***ing assholes thought they needed to have the boogeyman and show up inside the town, on someone's porch, to have its mythos be believable. It helps sell the ruse to movie viewers, but inside the world of the movie itself, there's no sensible reason to do this. And in fact, this only risks your ruse being exposed, actually. What if the human inside trips, and the cloak falls off, and they're all pointing like, "Looketh, it hath been Benjamin all along!" Deus ex machina. So the monster can figure out front doors to houses, but not doors in the floor?
Who has written this note?
No one admits it, but she still stands up to read it as evidence, which is stupid. How do you even know it's real? But also, why not ask the gal that handed you the note who handed it to her? Then ask that person who handed it to them, so on and so forth till you find the writer of the note. Neither actor is in character here. This is literally William Hurt telling Adrian Brody his performance is over the top, and please give it a goddamn rest for at least one scene. Christ. If you can do shorter runs of tables, why, in the name of those you do not speak of, do you create 1 mile long table in the middle, making it impossible for anyone to walk anywhere during this meal for fellowship or exercise or delivering extra food to tables? Oh no, elders. Tell me after all the lies and fear theater and wasted effort, tell me you didn't throw out a perfectly good hunk of pig as some kind of sacrifice to the fake monsters. Tell me you didn't waste that bacon. Why the ceremonial tossing? You could have just taken 2 steps and dropped that on the rock, but you had to do a 3 wind-up cliche toss. You went out to feed the beasts and you took 2 small children with you?
I had an elder sister.
Mrs. Clack, you've been keeping secrets.
Movie has time for this. Movie has time for so much of this. Most casual wedding ever, people were talking throughout, and look how many were in the greenhouse and not even pretending to pay attention. They're all terrified of red monsters in the woods, but not all these f***ing candles casually threatening to send them all to hell in a quick 30 seconds. This also goes on for some time. No lie, I'm gonna take a sin off of this movie. For the love story between these two and its authentic portrayal, even in the midst of all the silly
They're in the village.
What the heck? Is that a young pre- and middle Axel delivering the roll credits moment? Roll credits. I realize you want some light to see where you're going and light your way and but this is basically the here we are, please come eat us highway, no?
The hides and feathers are missing. There are marks on the door where it was opened.
This scene suggests only a select few adults here know about the ruse, which is balls. That's insanity to a T. Just like in The Prestige, sooner or later your hired actors playing the boogeyman will realize they can make demands. And or you die without passing on the ruse details and the whole thing falls apart. Honestly, watch this movie once and you might be forgiven for thinking it was kind of cool. Watch it twice and you will have questions.
The marks are high. Coyotes cannot reach that high.
Obviously, you haven't seen Acme's latest line of ladders. Insomnia.
It is cold outside.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Do you find me too much of a tomboy?
Not at all. You were asking him, not me. Let's see what he says in response.
When we are married, will you dance with me?
Germanic pixie dream girl.
Why can you not say what is in your head?
Why can you not stop saying what is in yours?
Oh, snap. Lucius would be brutal at CinemaSins. Zing away, Meryl. Zing away.
I fear for your safety before all others.
There's a fine line between love and stalking, and this character kind of embodies that line.
There's nothing you could do that would sacrifice my love for you.
Holy f***, that is a scarf to end all scarves. They only got 2 takes before it ate her. This movie's psycho moment is not as impactful as the movie it's stealing from. Harold, did you drag the rocking chair all the way out to the edge of the yard and leave it in the rain? Yes, Marla. Why would you do that? There barely even rocks out there, and there really isn't even much you could see there that you can't see from the covered porch. Yeah, but if our lives are actually a movie, the director could use it as an ominous shot following a tragic event. Oh, true. Carry on then.
Noah, Percy was found with quarts of blood upon his clothes and hands. He will not speak as to whose it is.
Why are you assuming it was a person? After everything that's been happening with the skinned livestock popping up, wouldn't the first thought be that it was animal blood somehow? Everything in this movie goes on for some time. Considering she handed her cane off before commencing with the bitch slap beatdown, how did she know where he put it as she grabbed forward on her way out? You have gone out of your way to show me we are deep into autumn, but now you want your kale and your leafy greens to be in full perfect harvest condition behind this husband-wife discussion, and I'm just thinking, you people have never grown anything in your entire lives.
You are a strong one, Ivy. You lead when others would follow.
Which is weird, since you raised her in a society you created to condition people to follow. It's ironic, really.
Ivy, do your very best not to scream.
Or, and I'm just spitballing here, you could prepare her for what she's about to experience with the gift of spoken language. Use your words, William. Use your words.
You needn't be scared. We have the magic rocks.
Oh. Also, magic rocks. Ultimately, Kristoff goes back to the village because he's afraid, and not because he just recently got married and has a wife to impregnate. Take care of. As Murder by Numbers and Gwen Stacy sit here in the freezing rain, I'm left wondering why the truth was so important it needed to be told to her, but still kept from him and the now departed Kristoff.
Something in these woods turns my stomach to rot.
That's anxiety, because of all the lies your parents told you about these woods. And if you just hang on a bit, we will get you some modern meds for that that will turn your life around, son.
You're better in these woods than most boys. Anyone would say so.
Oh, just fucking leave, you coward. Stop spewing transparent excuses for being a coward. You are literally leaving a blind girl alone in an icy forest to save your own skin. You, sir, are more evil than Darth Vader. Also, with no modern compass and no sunshine, good luck not getting lost in frostbitten ass face.
I cannot explain in words.
Oh, bold of the Thunderbolt. Here, try these words. It's a costume we wear to scare the villagers into not going into the woods to find out it's actually the 21st century. Was that so hard?
Those we don't speak of.
Be frightened.
Bum, bum, bum. The creatures are fake, and he's telling her this because she's determined to go into the woods looking for towns with medicine. And my first question is, why not tell her no, then go to town your own ass and get the medicine? Keep the lie alive and not risk the blind daughter's life. Seems perfect to me, but for that nebulous and non-binding sounding Elder's Code mentioned earlier. My second question is, you revealed this to her like this? You could have told her, then told her again, and then when she requested proof, you let her touch this thing. Boom, Bob's your uncle. You're done. But instead, you let her feel it first for maximum shock and pain, because you don't love your daughter, you love creating dramatic moments. Just like your director.
Forgive us our silly lies, Ivy. They were not meant to harm.
You. Your lies are not silly. They were foundational to her understanding of life. They were restrictive and intentional and basically a prison. You don't get to call your f***ing lies silly, President Satan-Face McPuppet Master.
You will go with 2 escorts.
The fact that it must be the blind girl who goes for help and no one else is one of the most baffling things about this movie. This is ultimately presented as the elders that knew about the truth all along, and that is way too large a group for this to have lasted 40 years without issue.
And that, in the end, is what we have protected here. Innocence!
Said the guy that just sent his blind daughter on a quest through the woods.
How could you have sent her? She's blind.
I said this ages ago, lady, so your audition for CinemaSins is a wasted effort. Of all the things that go on for some time in this movie, this climbing out of the hole is that goes on for some timingist.
There did exist rumors of creatures in these woods.
Rememoration. Even this goes on for some time. Actually, the village could have probably just been titled This Goes On for Some Time, the movie. Look, if the tension is working for you, all this might work as well. But if it's not, it just feels like, can we please get to the obvious twist is obvious part of this thing so we can all go home? You movie. He's Adrian Brody, a mentally disabled person, so him gruffing like this is weird, but him standing cinematically in a field of leafless red berry plants surrounding him like blood spatter, that's beyond weird. That's suspension of disbelief killing impossible.
He found one of the suits we kept under the floorboards.
And not only do we get that giant steaming pile of convenience, but he also somehow understood to put it all on perfectly, escape the room, find his way into the woods without being seen, and track down Ivy, who had a giant head start. Oh, and not to mention when he found her, he ran after her without making any noise or saying her name, even though he's likely clueless as to what's going on. Just Noah shit's getting Sins 2x2. It's a gruesome death, yes, but I'm definitely glad he's dead. That character sucked all movie long. Damn, this Where the Wild Things Are adaptation is much darker than I anticipated.
His will to live is very strong.
Well, that makes one of us. Worst Bird Box challenge ever. Gun, gun, gun! It was the 21st century all along, so let's examine this idea, shall we? Strap in, this may take a while. It appears as if it's been about 20 years since they moved here, and in that time, they've developed an entire off-grid self-supporting community without any of the kids finding out. Since Lucius is already born in this picture, they basically had 2 or 3 years to make it happen without him having some memories of the outside world. All the homes, the clothes, the food, everything up and running ridiculously fast. Also, as unlikely as that is to happen, what makes it even more ridiculous is the size of the community. What are there, like 100 people here? When did the others arrive? How did they hear about it? With each new family, the secret becomes much less likely to be kept. And what about the wood? Where are they getting the lumber for these picnic tables? The houses, especially considering the central key to their religion is to stay out of the fucking woods. And what about noises? Anyone who has lived out in the boonies knows you can hear sounds from miles away. There's no possible way they haven't heard a horn honk, or a car backfire, or had to explain off the explosions in the distance every 4th of July. And that's just the things they don't even try to explain. Even the explanations are nonsense. They bought a wildlife preserve. Preserves are paid for with taxpayer money, and it would be very easy for someone, anyone, to find out that this wasn't an actual preserve, especially a US government who doesn't take kindly to that kind of impersonation. And airplanes. Oh, the airplanes. Sure, they feed us some nonsense about paying off some guys in the government to make it a no-fly zone, but here's the thing. No-fly zones are almost exclusively reserved for government or military reason, and even if you did manage to secure one, there's no way you could enforce it against military or government aircraft. And that's ignoring that civilian aircraft accidentally fly over no-fly zones often. Not to mention that there's no way to make a no-fly zone big enough that you wouldn't hear the planes even if you couldn't see them. All of this to say, there's no possible way, no matter how rich you are or how hard you try, to keep this little cult in the prairie a secret from those outside, or more importantly, those inside the not-so-friendly confines. And since the entire central conceit of the movie rests on it, how about we handcraft another 50 cents? M. Night Shyamalan. No one has thrown these bananas out yet.
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
Room spinning, 'cause I drank too much, because I wanted to get drunk and
We sat down there on company orders to get this thing, which destroyed my crew.
Gather your bravery.
No cell phone reception, no traffic cameras. Go someplace for one goddamn weekend when it can't globally position my ass.
So the evil things from my past are kept close and not forgotten.
Let us open it.
No.
Oh, what's in the box?
This criminal has plagued my family for nearly 20 years. He's a ruthless adventurer and a con artist who preys on mentally feeble, sick old ladies. And he probably f***s them, too.
You, alone, will follow the road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.